Hello, this is Michael Vasquez. We're here at the Brookside Nature Center, and amongst all this beauty, you may find some interesting features that are here. One of the most interesting ones are the floating wetlands. Stay with me as we learn what floating wetlands are and why they are important. What are floating wetlands? Floating wetlands are small artificial floating platforms with wetland plants. Floating wetlands can be used in existing water bodies or waterways or in a pond designed to provide water treatment. Floating wetlands in an existing water body provide an environmentally friendly option where there is limited space for a large stormwater treatment system. The wetland plants grow in soil-contained fibrous fabric pockets that are surrounded by a flotation structure. They spread through the floating wetland fabric and down into the water, creating a dense mass of roots with lots of surface area. The greater the root's surface area, the greater its ability to treat stormwater. One of the biggest water quality problems in this region is excessive nutrients and sediment in our waterways. When it rains, stormwater runoff flows from developed areas and into storm drains and then flows into our creeks and streams. The stormwater runoff from our urban, suburban, and agricultural areas picks up sediment and dissolved nutrients. Nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus can cause algae blooms that create dead zones in our rivers and the Chesapeake Bay by depleting dissolved oxygen necessary for animal respiration. The sediment can cause cloudy water that blocks sunlight and smothers aquatic plants. Floating wetlands can help address the nutrient and sediment pollution, while providing valuable habitat for many creatures above the water and below. The wetland plants soak up the nutrients and use the pollutants. Aquatic microbes and bacteria that attach to the plant's underwater root mass break down the nutrients and help the plants soak them up. As water flows through the dense root masses, sediment is filtered out. The water is slowed down, allowing time for the roots to filter out sediment and encouraging the sediment to deposit in the pond. Floating wetlands can also provide for biodiverse habitats. By carefully designing the floating wetlands, we can provide a variety of habitats both above and below the water surface. Turtles, for example, can easily climb onto these floating islands and bask in the sun. The floating wetlands can be used by waterfowls for nesting. The nests are safe from the predators along the shoreline. They also provide native plant habitats for pollinators like butterflies and dragonflies. Habitat is also found beneath the floating wetlands. The root mass provides hiding places for small fish. Fish also like the cooler water under the floating wetlands, which provides shade. Many creatures can also feed off the microorganisms that develop on the roots. The filtered water also benefits the aquatic creatures downstream of the floating wetlands. Floating wetlands accomplish all this by mimicking natural wetlands. While floating wetlands provide some benefits, they're not as effective as natural wetlands. It is, therefore, important that we continue to preserve and protect the natural wetlands we have. So next time you're here by the ponds at the Brookside Nature Center, whoever you're with, share what you've learned from this video.